What are we doing? We're doing event listeners and other things. You gave me like a big old
Sample
list
stuff.
of things that we wanted to talk about, and I was like, I can't put that into 140 characters.
Yeah, I have a bunch of discoveries in Corona and maybe some code snippets that might be useful to you guys. So I thought I might share it on Corona Geek, and
Yes, awesome.
that would be useful. So let me share my screen for you.
This would work a lot better if it wouldn't talk the whole time.
Cupcakes.
You got it.
Okay, so I have this applications that I developed some time ago. It's applications that you have to tap on cupcakes and they disappear, and you have to tap on them precisely to get more scores. Kind of a silly and quick application. So I converted it to Graphics 2.0 just now, just to show you some stuff that I've been working on. So the project itself is very simple, just a one sen play Lua. And what I want to talk about is a file which is called app.lua. It is a file that I include in all my projects, and which includes some essential stuff for my development, some useful tricks. I have already been talking about some parts of it here and there, and today I want to talk about events. So first of all, this handy function, next frame. I thought it in storyboard source code. It's called different way, but I like the naming. So next frame is essentially a function which is going to be called next frame of the application. So you call, for example, app next frame, and you pass it a function, and that would do, for example, object remove self. This is useful for example for collisions with physics bodies. You know, when the collision event is occurring, you can't remove the object right in the event. You have to wait for at least one frame to remove it. So this is one use of it. Next, I want to talk about these three handy functions, which are managing runtime event listener interframe. You know, it's for some it's been a headache to manage interframe listeners in the app because there may be so many of them, and you have to keep track of them so you don't miss anything, or your app may crash or say some errors and not let you do what you want. So here in this cupcake application, I have a function that is updating all the cupcakes so they can function properly. So, and this is called in each frame listener. So this function creates one global interframe listener that is attached to runtime, and it is managing all the other such functions. So at any time, your application will have only one runtime listener. All the functions that you attach to it will be called right here in this function. So it puts all your functions into this table, and simply it calls all of them in this table. You see this parenthesis? This is calling. So they call it there. When you want to remove your function from there, you call this function each frame remove. This is you can perform some cleaning that way. And when there are no more functions left in the table, it will remove event listener. And if there's not an event listener, it will add one in each frame function. So this is kind of useful, I think. It may keep your project clean. Another useful function, and it's also an event listener, is finalize function, finalize event. Probably not many of you know, but Corona has added some time ago finalize event for objects. Let me find it. Here it is. Finalize is supposed to hold some activities that you want to perform when you destroying your object. So when my cupcake is removed from display, it will cancel its timer, and the timer is managing these little rotations that it handles. And without finalize event, my application would raise a lot of errors, and it would not be good. So this is what it does. So this is great from Corona, but this thing doesn't work when you remove your scene or go to another scene and removing it, because this finalize event is only working when you explicitly call remove self on the cupcake or on your object, or display remove. When you remove a group which is containing object with such event, it won't fire that event, and this is kind of messing it up and ruining all the point of using them. So I filed a bug report to Corona. I haven't got the reply yet, so I decided to make a workaround. So this is a workaround. What I do is I substitute new display new group function, and when remove self is called for this for the group, it will search all the children within it and see if it has finalized events attached to them. So events might be table listeners and function listeners. So it searches in all of them and calling such event appropriately. So with this code, you can use finalize event safely in your application and not worry about it not getting called.
Okay, so I see you. So you're just double checking to make sure that everything's happening the way it's supposed to, so that it doesn't cause any errors.
Right.
Okay.
Another cool feature I want to show you is that you actually can modify timers in real time, in runtime. So when you create your timer with perform with delay with some time, you can then change this value later in the code. In this case, even source variable pointing to the timer itself. So self t and even source are the same. And each timer have a bunch of kind of hidden parameters. They're not in the documentations, but they're available to you, and you may use them. Of course, if Corona wants to change it, your code will break, and you have to deal with it. But it's kind of cool to use it. It solves so much problems, and you can make so much fun stuff with it. For example, here I'm changing the delay value. This is infinite timer. It's called many times, and each time with a different time. And you can see all my cupcakes are rotating, swinging with random time, always. So this is good. And let me show you what.
So are you saying that the cupcakes themselves, each individual cupcake itself, changes its rotation or whatever on the fly?
Yes, on the fly. So each this image cupcake is the object cupcake, and this code you see here, new cupcake, is code that creates such object, and I'm attaching a timer to it so it can swing around. So this is my swing function, which is transition, and it changes its rotation. One time it's plus 15, another time it's minus 15, because I swap D around. It's either -1 or +1.
Very cool. It gives it more of an organic feel and more random.
Yes.
Okay.
And if I run the code like that, did I remove it here? I think I did. And in the console, we have a lot of stuff. So this is each cupcake showing its event source table. So each timer has these parameters: time, count, listener, remove, delay, iterations. So I'm changing the delay value. You probably can change most of them, maybe all of them. So count is how many times the timer has been fired. Current time, iterations. It's you can change on the fly. Is it a infinite timer or finite timer? So it's pretty cool.
I wonder, have you experimented with changing the count? So let's say you set up an iterator, a timer with 10 iterations, and then let it get to the 8th and set it back to a count of 1.
I did. I actually did.
And did it work?
Yes, I increased the count required. So.
No, this is good to know, because I had an application requirement recently where I wanted a resettable timer, and it ended up jumping through all kinds of hoops, not thinking I should have dug into the internal structure of the timer. So, cool. This is cool. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else I can show you. Another useful function which I came across is extending table library, so remove by ref. So it's like table remove, but instead of passing the index of the element, you pass the element itself, and it's just a combination of index of and table remove. So it's small, but it's so handy and so useful to use. So I thought to include in the library. Okay. What else do I have here? Okay, nothing more important. Last thing I want to show you is a script that is useful for any games that uses tile sets. So here. So for example, I have this tile set for a platformer game, and all tiles are nice. They don't have any gaps between them. So this is the way they come from other software and some other artists. So they don't have to think about corona limitations and to insert gaps between tiles and such sort of stuff. So I thought it would be useful to write some code to automatically expand each such tile set and add gaps between the tile sets. So in Corona there would be no how to call it?
Aliasing?
Not aliasing, but when you move a tile, a group with tiles in it, when it's moved, you can see on the edges. You can see.
Yeah, it grabs pixels from the other tiles.
Yeah. From the.
I don't know what that term is. The best I can come up with is it's like aliasing, where it's averaging the two tiles that are next to each other, which is wrong.
I think it's jitter. It jitters.
Maybe jittering, maybe something like that. So anyway, I come up with a tool that solves it. So from such tile set, I get this tile set with underscore in front of the name. And this tile set has doubled edges pixels, where it's visible. Here it is visible, so you can see the black part has double the size on the side. So all the tiles are doubled with edges. And you can see in the Finder, I need inspector. So this tile set is 512 in width, and the other one is 544. So it has increased the width appropriately and height. So the tool is ImageMagick. I hope most of you know such command line tool. And this is the code for this script. What it does, it adds padding, and it only has one parameter. Let me open a new tab in my...
So ImageMagick is the tool, and then you created a script to do what you wanted to do.
Yes, ImageMagick is... let me show you in the browser what it is.
Is it the one with the little wizard dude?
Yeah,
that one.
So it is a command line tool which can perform tons of operations on images in command line, and it's very useful for such kind of jobs. So if you want to batch or size your images, if you want to add borders or whatever, this is an ideal tool. Okay, you can install it using Mac ports, and that is their site. And they have installer. You install it, and then in command line you would type sudo port install ImageMagick. You hit enter, and it will ask your password, and it will install the ImageMagick for you. But I have it installed, and it just exiting. So I am in my directory. Let's remove all pages that it's generated. And when I run the expand file, I can add parameters, the width of the tiles. It might be 64, 32, 96, whatever you have. It's uniform, must be uniform. So with no parameters, it defaults to 32. I'm hitting expand, and it converts. I don't know what this error is, but supposedly it's nothing bad. And it have added all the expanded tile sets. Just like that. Yeah, here it is.
Well, that's super useful, because I'm way too... I don't know about you guys, but I encounter exactly this scenario all the time. These sheets that are put together edge to edge, which are totally useless to me.
And now this is all available on my GitHub. I decided to put it in a gists. So if you go to github.com/lerg, my nickname, you would be able to see expand tile set sh, utils lua, app lua, and you can grab code from there.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's I was going to ask you where we could get the code, but I didn't want to, I didn't want to say, give me all your goods.
Give me all your goods. Make sure you give us that link.
Another thing I want to show you is that I was asked if Zero Brain had split view, but it has. So you can have the code cloned all the way you want.
The split view.
Yeah, split view. But this is a plugin, so it not comes right away with IDE. The creator of this IDE is now working on adding proper plugin system, so it will be downloadable from the IDE within. But for now, it must be downloaded and put in your Zero Brain Studio folder in your home folder. It is ZB Studio. packages, and clone view Lua. It's available on his website, and this one is another plugin which removes all the trailing space from the files. For example, if I have this here, a lot of white space, it's useless, or here, it's all useless. If you select, you can see it. But if when you press save, it's gone. So it keeps, it keeps your code clean.
I do that all the time. Add extra spaces at the end. It drives me nuts.
Right now, we have been working on updating the API for Zero Brain, because right now it doesn't know, for example, new snapshot or graphics 2.0 features, but soon it will be. We just need the markdown files from Corona to convert them.
Very nice, very nice. Have you contacted anybody there and asked for that, or what's the?
Yeah, the creator of the IDE, Paul, emailed somebody, and I asked Sean today in the IRC, but he didn't answer me yet.
Okay.
You can see I'm here.
Okay. Cool.
Well, I was going to say, I think he wins the most useful snippets award for today.
I have one more. One more.
Oh, okay.
I almost forgot.
No, you only one.
And event listeners does not require second parameter, so you don't have to write it like this, cupcakes. You don't need it. And instead, sense down there, you also don't need to write thing here. It's not mentioned in the docs, I think, and everywhere in the examples it is written like this, but you don't need to write it.
Oh, that's cool. Good. Although, you know what, I just wanted to say thank you very much for mentioning the finalize callback, or however you want to think of it. That has been missing for a long time, and I did not know that they added it. So
yes,
that is a very powerful feature to use.
Let it make much larger. Okay, so this is it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We will make sure to put the link to that in the show notes. GitHub. I'm going to write it down, make sure I got it. Okay, very cool. Well, thank you. That is awesome, and I like the idea of putting things into a library. Ed, you've mentioned that several times, right? That as you go along, you put things into a library. So I'm sure I'd be interested to see other people's libraries as well. There should be like a big library share thing someplace. I know that GitHub is a big code share, but it'd be cool.
We got a new code share.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Well, I was thinking more of like a library thing, but yeah, that'd be a great place to post it as well.
And I have one announcement. As you know, I was in Kiev at the developers conference, which is devoted to game development, and I represented Corona there just to talk about it as for maybe beginners, and maybe talking about its how's it called? I don't know, something useful. Let's call it like that. So I have translated my slides into English, and will soon make a video talking about it. So it will be like you go to the conference, but you don't have to learn Russian for this.
Oh, cool.
So we don't have to learn Russian.
You don't have to learn Russian.
I tried that before, and that was hard.
Yeah, it's like going to the conference without the in-flight movie. Awesome, that's cool. We gonna put that on your YouTube channel?
Yes.
Okay, send me a link when it's live, and let's share it around.